I spent about 7 days trying to find a wormhole entry to the Cobalt Edge systems, but not just any entry. I was looking for a safe entry that wasn't camped, and well, that was kind of unsuccessful. Most, if not all, the current entry points that are known are heavily camped, and some even have cavalry ships waiting for unsuspecting explorers. Now the next update kind of solves that problem, since they will be adding a new type of wormhole that leads to the Cobalt Edge system, a small wormhole that lasts about a day, and a wormhole that is only detectable via scanners, so you can't really find it on the ore, you have to scan it down. And it has some weight and size limitations, so that might allow me to find a wormhole and basically enter the Cobalt Edge systems, and then from there on I think I'll have a lot of fun in the new region. Who knows where I'll end up. And well, today I'll be doing some solo PvP, also looking forward for Cobalt Edge combat. I'll be probably flying a Stratius, but first I'll have to explore the space to see what's waiting for me over there. So definitely going to be exciting, and I'm personally looking forward to it. But yeah, they will spawn in low sec. In all the low sec systems, they all have a possibility to have a wormhole. And I believe sister thief ships and all the scanner exploration ships will have their price tag increased starting tonight or tomorrow. Depends on when this video is released. I think this video will be out after the new wormholes are out. So we will see what will happen. Now, let's go to the first target. Now,
Warp drive active.
I'm in the Macarial, which means our first target is something big. However, while warping, I kind of had that feeling. Usually when I get the feeling, my sixth sense just, starts to work. And when my sixth sense starts to go off, it's something isn't just right. Usually when my sixth sense starts to beep around, my bait and trap radar starts to go haywire. And there's 3 neutrals, one of which is a raven, one is a bellicose cortops, and the third one is a destroyer. Now, kind of weird. Why would they have a cortops nearby? And there's a chance that the raven is a bait, and that they might drop some capital ships on me. So I'll go and change my ship into something much more maneuverable and something fast. Well, I mean, I'm not saying the Macarial is slow. I'm just saying I need something
Warp drive
that's
active.
a little smaller and something that's, a little bit faster. Faster with the micro warp. And I think I'll pull out my good old Ortus. I haven't been flying that thing lately, and I kind of missed flying the Ortus. One of the first ships that I used to complete the 1000 kill mark challenge. So I prepared the Ortus. I actually forgot to change one thing. I forgot to add a different implant, but I didn't have enough time to do that. So let's go after the Raven. Now the Ortus is prepared for the Raven. I have dual guidance disruptors, dual points.
Warp drive active.
Haven't changed anything on this ship. The Ortus has a problem with capacitors. With its capacitor, the capacitor does run down quite quickly, uncomfortably quickly. That's right now the main issue with this thing. Now the Raven was orbiting. They're not at 0. They're actually quite far from the beacon. The thing with the Ortus is it has a long range with the points, and I'll be orbiting at 38 kilometers. So the battle is on. The Raven has been pointed, and I have both of my guidance disruptors on the Raven. Now, based on the damage that I'm doing, I'm not doing much damage. That is a tanky one, and by the looks of it, a very tanky one. They
We're under
do
attack.
boost the shield quite quickly. So either they have one of the nanocores that have a bonus on the shield booster performance, or they have a heavily integrated Raven, which is also a possibility. Or they might be using the dual battery builds with dual shield boosters, which honestly is kind of interesting, since I haven't seen that build being used on a Raven in quite a long time. Now, by the looks of it, I'm slowly going through the shield, but again, this is a very tanky Raven. Now, this Ortus doesn't have anywhere near the amount of DPS that my old Ortus had. My old Ortus had about 1.5 thousand DPS cold. This has about 800 DPS, which is almost 50% less. And that's for a very good reason. That Ortus back then performed in a different way. Back then the capacitor was more stable, and I was able to use the micro warp drive, large booster, and the capacitor battery without worrying about the ship's capacitor. But since they have changed how the micro warp drive works, and they also have changed, I think they also have changed the ship, so that's the old build doesn't seem to be working really well. After all, you can see that my capacitor is definitely taking a big hit, and you can partially blame the guidance disruptors for that. However, I have to use them since the rapid missiles on the Raven can do some damage, especially if they have an implant. In this case, the best option is not to get hit. So back then you could easily speed tank a Raven with the Ortus since it wouldn't do much damage, but now with implants things have changed a little bit, and you have to be very careful with some of the ships, especially with the missile ships, since missiles are really good now. But I will be using all my knowledge that I know about flying this thing, and I'll try to conserve as much capacitor as possible. I will try not to go below 30% capacitor, and ideally I will keep the capacitor at about 40%. Now, this Raven seems to have no propulsion module. That works in my favor because I can easily maintain a stable orbit around the Raven even without a micro warp drive, which is important since the micro warp drive will eat a lot of capacitor while active. So in order to maintain a stable orbit, and in order to, most importantly, in order to not kill my own capacitor, I will occasionally use the micro warp drive just so that I am not close to any of the other ships on the field. That would be a very bad thing if I were to get scrambled by the ships that are part of the mission. And since I can easily maintain a stable orbit around the Raven without a micro warp drive, since it looks like that the Raven is quite slow. I mean, it's a battleship, so I'm not really surprised. Usually these battleships have a micro warp drive or a afterburner, but this Raven seems to be full tank. Which is, if you go full tank, it kind of goes both ways. You can take a lot of damage, but you are going to be vulnerable to long range ships like the Ortus. And in this case, I'm taking that as an advantage, since I know that they can't get to me, even if I don't have a micro warp drive enabled, since they have no propulsion module. So I can easily just chill and kite from about 30-80 kilometers without the micro warp drive running at all times. Now I do occasionally turn the micro warp drive on, especially when I have the battery, so that I just use the extra capacitor from the battery, and in case I get jumped, I'll be able to easily warp out, since I still kind of believe that this Raven is kind of a bait. But so far I haven't been jumped, so maybe they're waiting for me to take a different ship, I don't know. In any case, no other ship has warped in the mission. Now the Raven's shield is slowly going down. I believe that's because their capacitor must be low. Now I don't see any Nosferatu effects, so they have to be 100% relying on the shield booster to maintain the. They have to rely on the capacitor battery to keep the capacitor alive so that they can boost shield, but I seem to see, yeah, they definitely lost capacitor, and they definitely are on the cooldown with the capacitor batteries. So I can do some serious damage to the Raven while the cooldown of the batteries is there, since they can obviously tank my DPS when they have the batteries, when they have capacitor. Now they have one large neutralizer. At this range, the large neutralizer is not going to do anything to my capacitor. I have a capacitor battery, so even if I lose capacitor, my recharge rate is more than enough to keep my points active on the target. And I have the capacitor battery occasionally, so I can easily resupply my capacitor every 90 seconds. The Raven is now into armor, and on armor I'm doing a lot more damage, since the Raven is a cavalry ship, primarily a shield tank. On armor I'll be doing a lot more damage, since they have no tank on that. Now it's interesting, one neutralizer. So the other three modules are definitely not Nosferatus, since there is no Nosferatu active throughout the whole battle, which does lead me to believe that this Raven is a PvP Raven with a PvP build. So might actually be the smart idea for me to take the Ortus versus this Raven, since I don't know what other ships would warp in. However, nothing is warping in yet, so might be a solo Raven, I don't know. In any case, so far it looks like I am controlling the fight. The Raven is now into hull. They have dual shield boosters, large shield boosters, and their capacitor battery is up and running, but once the batteries go offline and once they use up all the capacitor, then the capacitor will be empty. And that neutralizer, now they made a mistake here. They could probably save their capacitor for a bit longer if they haven't been using the neutralizer. I believe they have kind of killed their own capacitor with the neutralizer, since I could see that they were using the neutralizer on the pirate ships that were part of the mission. They haven't been using that on me. I believe that's kind of a mistake that they made in a panic during the fight, and that was a mistake that definitely cost them the ship. The fight could have lasted a lot longer if they haven't been using the neutralizer. That was a mistake that they did, since at this range on the Raven the large neutralizer isn't going to do much. Even if you have a general unit, it is not a Blood Raider ship, so while a large neutralizer is definitely a good thing to have, at this distance it is not going to have much of an effect to a kiting Ortus. Just a little bit of shield and hull left. That was definitely a tanky Raven. Definitely a tanky Raven. That was fun. That was a good fight. Let me go and collect the wreck. Well, yeah, that's what I call a tanky Raven. And I always love to engage large ships with smaller ships. That's kind of been my thing for a very long time. And I have a lot more fun using a cruiser versus battleship than a battleship versus battleship. However, in some cases
Warp
I have
drive
to use a
active.
battleship. There are some ships that I don't have a cruiser for, or just don't want to risk the target warping away. But yeah, glad I took the Orcus out for this one. That was a good fight. Okay, now let me take a look at the kill. 387 million rapid missiles, dual batteries, dual boosters, dual adaptives, and this is a PvP Raven. That was a PvP Raven. Dual points, a web, and a neutralizer. I like the build actually. As you could see, it lasted for a very long time. Wouldn't change much if I had my old Ortus. I mean, the old Ortus would probably get wrecked, since I think the Guided Disruptors helped to reduce the range, and overall it really helped me to literally avoid 100% of incoming damage, since the Raven didn't land a single missile on my ship. Now next we have a Cyclone. They are a little bit far away. I'm with the Celos, burning toward the Cyclone. There's a good chance that they warp out, since there isn't many ships where I could use them as cover. Battery mode on, barrage on. Okay, tackled, webbed. That's some nasty damage. The Celos does so much damage. In hull, and Cyclone is destroyed. I almost forgot to use the damage control there. I forgot how the Celos performs if you don't have a large extender. I actually started to prefer the ship with the large extender. It feels like a Cinnabal, a very tanky Cinnabal. That one large extender does help a lot to absorb a lot of hit points. But cloak is also important, since you can literally hide and be unseen. Cloak is sometimes much better. 161 million, not bad. At least, yeah, they had a decent, in a way, a decent build. Definitely much better than a lot of other Cyclones that I've seen. Let's go to the next target. We have a Dominix. Now, I remember the days where I used the Ortus versus a Dominix, and I remember the days when I used the Ashimu for the Dominix. I would actually, if I had the Ashimu right now, I would use the Ashimu for the Dominix, since that ship is so fun to fly, and it can tank so much damage. Ashimu remains one of the more tanky cruisers in the game. Unfortunately, the Ashimu still has the problem where, I mean, all the Blood Raiders have the same problem. They don't have a lot of points to hold down the target. So that's one of the reasons why I don't fly the Ashimu at the moment. In a fleet, I can definitely see the Ashimu as a very good ship, a very good support ship, but for solo PvP, not really. For solo PvP, I really require something with a lot of DPS, or something with a lot of points, or something in between. And so far, all of the ships that I fly are kind of in between. The Ortus kind of leans more towards the points, but that's the Ortus. That's kind of a special case, if you ask me. No, the Dominix wasn't really at 0. I warped in at the closest distance that I think I have in my mind, and yeah, it was a good call. I could probably take the Ortus for this Dominix, since they have large drones, and usually the large drones are slow and they can't really catch the Ortus. But Macarial it is. What? Scrambled, barrage implant engaged. Now they have decided to launch the drones at me. You can see the drones trying to chase me, but yeah, they're a bit far away and they're slow. I could definitely kill the Dominix with the Ortus, but who is going to risk an Ortus versus the Dominix with the bombarding plant being as strong as it is? Yep, not me. I'm just going to drop on Macariel. Although I kind of miss. I might, I mean, depending on the target, I usually have a ship for every target imaginable. I have a ship even for a carrier. I have some ridiculously tanky battleship that can fight a CN carrier 1v1. Or at least hold for a while until my friends land with the big artillery. But that was a very nice Dominix kill. Let's align and let's take a look at the kill. Now this Dominix did not have any high slots, which is kinda weird. Not really sure why they didn't equip any, but you know, was a pretty good kill, so I am not going to complain. A Dominix without high slots. Now this is a very funny little moment that happened. This is a Tristan Navy that I scanned down. They basically entered the system and seemed like they warped somewhere. I didn't even look at local at the time, I just scanned, went to the Tristan and tackled. And well, you guys know what's happening next. Tristan killed. The Astero still has it, as you can see. Unfortunately, it didn't drop much, but the Navy frigates are still fresh, they're still new, and they are expensive. So, why did my ship decloak? Did you see that? My ship decloak on its own. I didn't click on that button. 1.2 billion Tristan Navy kill. And this was a PvP Tristan. The loot fairy definitely doesn't like me. None of the expensive drones dropped. But yeah, that was a solid kill. And honestly a very good catch. It is very difficult to scan down a frigate that just warps like that. I have no idea what happened. I thought that they warped to a mission. I didn't even look where I was warping to. I just saw Tristan warp, scanned it down, and just yeeted. And
warp drive active.
The surprise, it actually worked in this case. Okay, let's go to the next target. This is the Cinnabon. Oh, I almost called it the Celos. My Cinnabon looks like the Celos. For some reason, that's the case. Maybe because the tungsten nanocore almost resembles the cells in the way how it looks. In any case, we are warping to the target. The Cinnabon is such a fun to fly ship. I love it. It is cheap, it has a lot of DPS, and with the current build, it's tanky. Now we have a Stabber Sniper. At first I thought that this is a bait, since they were just sitting there, but once I started to shoot at the Stabber Sniper I realized, yeah, this is definitely not a bait. And honestly, that sniper went down so fast. I expected him to tank a bit more, but that was a good catch, good kill. Fantastic warping.
We're under attack.
And let's warp out to take a look at the kill. Usually if you see a sniper cruiser, that's a bait. They are very good bait ships and very good PvP ships. Very interesting ships indeed. But I just prefer to fly faction cruisers. They are my thing, I guess. 422 million. Now this was a sniper, in the literal term, a sniper cruiser built for sniping. And they were probably in the sniper mode as well. Some good loot, good catch. Definitely a very good catch.
Undocking.
Okay, let's go to the next target. I think we have a... Actually, let's see. I forgot. We have a Dominix. Okay, this is the second Dominix for today. Lovely, let's go. The Dominix and literally every other drone boat in the game became very dangerous with the bomber tactic game plan. The Macariel can easily withstand quite a bit of DPS, the same way as a Cinnabon or Celos can, since I basically use the same fitting philosophy on all of the three ships that I have. Okay, there is the Dominix. Let's approach. Actually, not that far away. And this one seems to be a armor tank. Okay. 20 kilometers. Approaching. Hopefully they don't warp out. Okay, scrambled. Let's quickly turn on all the modules. Let's quickly shoot them down if possible. Now, there is something very interesting that I noticed. As you can see, I started to use a lot less scrammers than usual. I usually run 2 or 3 scrammers, but lately I started to use 1 scrammer and a lot of webs or basically anything else, and it seems like it's working really well. I don't really see any ships warping out, and shockingly I actually started to see less and less stabs. I don't know what's really happening, but that's
Warp drive active.
what I noticed. Did not expect it to happen. It kind of caught me by surprise, but I see a lot less and less stabs nowadays. Now, of course, there are some ships that have stabs, but it is nothing crazy. Like, I don't know what's happening. It's kind of weird since I expected to see more and more stabs, but I kind of see less and less for some reason. At least that's the case for now. We will see if that will change. Now, this was quite the juicy Dominix. That was a very good loot drop there. Next target we have a battlecruiser. Now this battlecruiser was kind of hard to approach. They have a large afterburner, and in approaching them with a slow Stratius is, as you guys know, kind of difficult. But with a bit of planning, a bit of using some tricks that I learned, and now the battlecruiser is flying towards me. So I am about to go. I mean, I'll be ready to tackle them. We'll tackle a bit early on so that I can start applying DPS with a head start, since I don't want to let the large afterburner hit full speed. Since if they hit full speed with the large afterburner, I am not going to be able to hold them down. They'll be faster than me even if I web them. So I have to tackle them early on in order to ensure that the target is destroyed before they reach top speed. Okay, let's scrambled, orbiting at 0, drones are out. Now I have to kill them as quickly as possible since they have a large afterburner, and they are still going to be very fast with the large afterburner, even webbed, since that's what assault battlecruisers do. They are in armor, in low armor, now in hull.
We're under attack. We're under attack.
Okay, seems I'm still maintaining an orbit. And the battlecruiser has been destroyed. Nice, let's loot and let's warp out. That was a good loot drop. Yeah, that was a good kill. Always nice when I manage to catch one of these ships. Always. I mean, I love to shoot on battlecruisers with the starters. This ship is kind of made for that purpose. This ship is kind of
Warp
made
drive active.
to hunt down snipers, especially aligned snipers. If the ship is aligned, then the Stratius is the best response that you can get, since the ship can't really escape a cloaky tackle. A Stratius or a bomber both are doing that job really well. 182 million, again a very good loot drop, some nice C-types, a large afterburner of course, I expected that, dual webs and a small neutralizer. Okay, that's interesting. Why a small neutralizer? Oh well, perhaps they had power grid issues, I don't know. Perhaps they couldn't fit a medium one or a large one. In any case, let's go to the next target.
Warp drive active.
This is... this? Yeah, this is the Celos, okay. The Cinnabon doesn't have the special mode the Celos has. There is the battlecruiser. Let's approach. I'm very close to them, so approaching them is not going to be a big problem. Battery mode is off so that I can reach full speed on time. Okay, within range. Scrambled, battery mode on, barrage on, gyro stabilizers are on as well.
We're
Going
under
to orbit
attack.
at 0. I have been webbed, double webbed. But it seemed like, I mean, they can probably
We're
track
under attack.
since I'm webbed and I use the macro warp drift, but it should not be a big problem.
We're
I
under
might take
attack.
some hits here and there, but this thing has a shield extender, a large one, and it has a damage control. That was a good kill. And some good loot. Some good loot, as
We're
I'm not
under
going to complain
attack.
about the loot. Any loot is good loot. I'm mostly looking for the
We're
fun,
under
and
attack.
so far
Warp
this
drive
has
active.
been fun. No complaints from me. Some very nice kills today. And some very nice fights, have to say. That Raven was really... That Raven was very fun to fight. That was one of the more fun fights that I had in a while. Okay, let's align and we can take a look at the build. 408 million, not bad. This build kind of reminds me of my own builds that I used on the Oracle when I was showing the PvP Oracle builds. Alright, well, that was a very nice run today. Some pretty good kills actually. And yeah, solo PvP, I always loved it. I'm surprised that I haven't stumbled upon so many stabbed ships lately. Maybe stabs are getting kind of out of the current meta. I have no idea what's happening actually. We'll have to see some more details about that. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed, and definitely going to do a lot more PvP and solo PvP in the future. Again, I'm very excited to see what the next update brings, especially the new wormholes, since they're smaller ones and they will probably pop all over the place. So I'll be finally able to get in the Cobalt Edge region, and maybe some more parts of the map will be unlocked. Who knows? We will see. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. Stay safe, fly safe. As always, I'll see you next time.